Well, Boris Johnson has been pictured with wine and cheese alongside his wife and up to 17 staff in the Downing Street garden during lockdown, raising questions over Number 10's insistence a work meeting was taking place. The photograph was taken on Friday, May 15, 2020, and comes as the UK Prime Minister faces a string of allegations of partying and socialising in Number 10 while COVID restrictions were in place. Joining me now live to discuss in London is Sky News political reporter Joe Pike. Joe, thank you for joining us this morning. What's been the response to this photo?
I think it has been confusion, incredulity, but this is just the latest chapter, Didiki, in a saga that really has been playing out to Boris Johnson's frustration over the last few weeks. Allegations about seeming rule breaking in and around Downing Street, where Boris Johnson lives in central London. He, of course, lives in a flat above the office. And there have been consistent allegations over the last 2 weeks or so about social gatherings and parties in that office in contravention of COVID restrictions and rules. Originally, there were reports of a Christmas party last Christmas. We were told by Boris Johnson's team there was no Christmas party. Then a video was leaked showing members of his staff laughing about the Christmas party. We've also had another leaked photo of Boris Johnson seemingly hosting a virtual Christmas quiz next to a staff member dressed in tinsel. And there have been a lot of difficult questions and photos. What we've seen in this most recent photo, which of course is not at Christmas, but last summer, is Boris Johnson and his wife, I think possibly with their newborn baby at that point, Wilfred, in the garden behind Number 10 and Number 11. So almost in their own garden, but with a lot of staff members too. That would have been contravening the COVID rules in the UK at that point. Now, Boris Johnson and his team have been on the airwaves in the last 24 hours trying to explain this. His deputy Prime Minister, a guy called Dominic Raab, has said, look, these people were working and they've worked very hard and they were having a quick drink after work. Mr. Raab said they were in suits or predominantly formal attire. So that's part of their excuse. Boris Johnson himself has been questioned about this in the last hour or so and said those were meetings of people at work talking about work. He was questioned by a reporter if it was common for politicians and their advisors to talk about work without laptops or without any papers and with wine and cheese. It is very awkward for Boris Johnson, especially as he ordered an inquiry into all of these allegations of Christmas events and other gatherings. That inquiry was supposed to be led by the Cabinet Secretary, the most senior civil servant in the UK. But at the end of last week, that civil servant had to stand back and quit the inquiry because, you've guessed it, one of the gatherings was seemingly taking place in his very office. Now, this senior civil servant wasn't, we're told, at the party, but he walked through it and briefly addressed the staff members who were having a drink and taking part in a Zoom quiz. But this is very, very awkward for Boris Johnson at a time where he seems quite weak amongst his own MPs and when there's a lot of pressure from scientists to introduce more COVID restrictions in the UK because of the rise in cases of the Omicron variant.
Yeah, extraordinary, and I'm sure there'll be more fallout to come. Joe Pike, live for us in London. Thank you for that update.